How easy is it for you to quiet your mind? Sometimes I find it easy and other times difficult. After so much practice, I now find it more easier than not. Hi, welcome to the Success Epistle podcast. My name is Toyin, and I am your host. A quiet mind is an asset to treasure. It is an important quality to have. Some people say, I need to hear myself think. Some say, I need some quiet. Some say, I can't hear the voice. And we Christians say, I need to know what God wants me to do in this situation. I need to know God's will for me in this situation. I need to hear God's voice. So I ask again, how easy is it for you to quiet your mind or soul? You make a lot of decisions every day about your business, your career, life, family. Some you make based on data, and some you make more intuitively. For example, in deciding what to talk about today, I went through some inner chatter process. I had earlier thought I was going to talk about different types of decisions and the different approaches we can take to make sure we arrive at the best decisions in those different categories. I had it all outlined in my head. I guess that will be for another day. But then, when I decided to be still and quiet my mind, what I heard in my mind and spirit was to talk to you about the importance of a quiet mind in making better decisions. I don't think this would be a new concept to you. You would have heard it numerous times. But have you ever taken time to carefully consider the concept of a quiet mind and what it might do for you? There is a science to the benefits of a quiet mind. Several neurological studies have been done on the benefits of quieting your mind through several methods, like taking long walks in nature, meditation, exercising, a long bath, and other methods of quieting your mind. It is very difficult to harness the power of your intuition when you can't be quiet. Joel Pearson, in his book, The Intuition Toolkit, defined intuition as the learned positive use of unconscious information for better decisions or action. Isn't the brain just absolutely wonderful? It has some information you're conscious of and some you're not conscious of. And sometimes you even act or decide based on this information you don't even know you have. Wow. Joel Pearson is a neuroscientist and psychologist at the University of New South Wales, where he has spent over 25 years on the scientific study of intuition. I love science. I love hearing and reading about the results of scientific studies, especially on subjects such as intuition, which is applicable to all of us. A subject so many people had written about, but we still couldn't understand. One of the things he mentioned in his book was about being aware of the state of your mind when you're about to make an intuitive decision. What is the state of your mind when you're about to use your intuition to decide on what to do in that specific situation? This kind of awareness requires quiet, stillness. Well, you might be picturing in your mind somebody sitting for minutes or hours at a time, just quiet, like this. Well, you could do that, but you don't have to. Your method of arriving at a quiet mind would depend on the urgency of the decision you're trying to make and the current state of your mind. For example, if you're in a frantic state of mind, you might want to do box breathing to get yourself to calm down. This is how you do box breathing. You count to 4 as you breathe in. Count to 4 as you hold that breath. Then another count to 4 as you breathe out slowly. Another count to 4 as you hold it. And then back to breathing in. So it forms a sort of box, right? Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Hold it. Breathe in. Like that. When you've done this a couple of times, you'll find that you naturally calm. You can take a moment to do it with me again now. How did that feel? Make sure to do it slowly. Make sure to do it over and over until you feel a general sense of calm, peace, and that it is well with your soul. Because it is. Another method I use to reach stillness is meditation. I try to practice it daily, and I have experienced periods of calmness, periods of clear decision making right after I just finished meditating. For example, if there was something I had been thinking about what to do and solve, maybe for days, weeks, or months, you know how some problems just keep nagging and eating away at you. So what I do is I put it off my mind. I take some time to do some meditation. And I have some instances where I would finish meditating and an idea would just pop in my mind that would be a perfect solution for that problem. This doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough for me to know and stick with daily meditation. I'll give you an example. We recently had some renovation done in our house. My husband and I usually look for value when we're buying properties. My husband has a renovation business. So we don't buy a house that is like all done and no value to add. No. So we bought this house. It's dated. The family that sold it to us had owned it for about 40 years. So you can imagine how dated it is. They had done some improvement to it, but it still needed a lot of work to bring it to today. Now, one major problem we wanted to solve was to add a guest washroom to the house. The house had one main washroom, which is the family washroom, and another washroom in the basement. But there was no washroom on the main floor where guests could just go, which meant that our guests would have to use the family washroom, which we didn't think was okay. Plus, having a guest washroom would also add significant value to the property. The problem was, where do we locate this washroom? My husband has all the technical knowledge because, that's his business, right? He's been doing that for years. He has all the technical knowledge on, the features of where a washroom can be located in a house. Given the existing plumbing and all of that. So we had checked. The house is a side split. We even thought of putting it on the lower side split level. So the guests would just go down like 2 or 3 stairs and use the washroom. And this went on for days and weeks. We just didn't know where to put it. And one day, I sat in the living room and did my meditation. And I wasn't even thinking about the washroom problem. I did my meditation for about 45 minutes. And when I finished, opened my eyes and just looked right across the room from where I was sitting. There was a wall, which was like the back of 2 closets. So the living area towards the dining and kitchen side had like 2 closets, right? Where you kept all sorts like laundry, like towels, cleaning tools and ingredients, gardening tools, things like that. But the 2 closets were not fully utilized. And then right in front of the closets was another door to the back of the house, right? So we had a big sliding door to the back of the house from the dining area. And right beside that was this other door, like a normal house door. So we had 2 doors leading to the back, and one was pretty much redundant. We never used it. And it was in front, like it was adjacent to one of those 2 closets, right? We had thought about locating the washroom there before, but we just didn't see how to make that work. That morning, I finished my meditation and I just went across and was like, wait a minute. If we block this door, if we change this door to a wall and we eliminate the closet that's adjacent to that wall, that's sharing that wall, would it be possible to have a guest washroom here? I know my description might not give you the best picture of what really happened, but it was so surreal. Like, this space has always been there, right? Okay, now that was an idea I had. I didn't know if it was going to work, so I had to wait for the expert to come back. When my husband got back from work, I told him the idea, and he was like, what? Brilliant, this is totally going to work. And that was how we solved that problem. Now, I remember it as one clear example of an idea coming to me as a result of a clear, quiet mind. Because there are a lot of things there are a lot of things that are deep down there in your subconscious, but are unable to come up to the surface because there's just so much noise, right? Because there's a lot going on there. The daily hassles of life, worries and concerns about your kids, about your job, about your business, your boss, about money, all these things we worry about all the time that don't even let us hear God's voice, that don't let us hear what the way forward should be for that situation you're worrying about. Now let's take it to the scriptures. What does the Bible say about being quiet? God was speaking to the Israelites through the prophet Isaiah in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 15. And this is from the Contemporary English Bible. It says, "Therefore the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel says, in return and rest you will be saved. Quietness and trust will be your strength." In return and rest, you will be saved. Quietness and trust will be your strength. There's a level of trust to quietness, isn't there? Quietness requires you to let go. Let go of what you were about to say. Let go of that thoughts that just popped in your mind. That's the wonderful thing about the mind. Thoughts are always pouring in, one after the other. Sometimes the last one having absolutely nothing to do with the new one. Just thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and chatter, constant chatter. That's the way my mind works. I don't know about you. And I'm saying that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way to get to quiet is not to hold on to that thought. Let it go. Let it go. I'm talking to you right now, and a thought pops into my mind like, oh my God, how do I look on the camera? What are they thinking about me as they're watching this? Oh my God, am I doing this correctly? I could hold on to that and freak out and stop and oof. But no, I let that thought do its thing, go its way, and I just keep talking to you. That's the same way it works in meditation. That's the same way it works in trying to get to a quiet mind. Quietness requires trust. It needs you to let go. It needs you to relinquish the need to figure it out, the need to control every single outcome. Trust and quietness. I was surprised, at the way that version used it for that scripture. Quietness and trust will be your strength. Oh my God. In Psalm 46, verse 10, the Amplified version, it says, and we all know this one, it's a popular scripture: be still and recognize that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold, our refuge, our fortress. How comforting is that? Does that encourage you enough to be quiet? Does that comfort you enough to let go and not despair and be still? That God, your Father, is the Lord of hosts, and He will be exalted on earth in your situation, in your life. And that the God of Jacob is your refuge, your shield, your safe place. Another example we have from the scriptures of quietness, being quiet and still, is when Jesus was asleep on the boat in the midst of the storm. He was sleeping. And I totally understand the way the disciples must have felt. Why are you sleeping? There's fire on the mountain. Like, we're in a literal storm and Jesus is asleep. Don't you care that we die? Do you want to die? How are you going to fulfill your ministry if the storm kills us and you? But Jesus was asleep. Oh my God. He had achieved a state of stillness, of calmness within him. And from that stillness and calmness within him, he was able to command the storm outside to be still. Did you get that? Calmness inside precedes calmness outside. Order within precedes order outside. So before you make that very important decision, can you take a moment to be calm? It is well known that decisions made frantically, decisions made in a panic mode, don't often yield the best result. They're often like trying to dig yourself out of sinking sand, like you're like, oh my God, I'm sinking. And then you're trying to crawl out of sinking sand. And the more you do that, the deeper you sink. Jesus commanded the external storm. Yes, because he's the Son of God and he's God in man and he has authority. But it was also after being still. The power you can manifest, the power you can use, the power that is in you as a child of God that can show forth if only you will be still. and find a way to quiet your mind. And like I explained earlier, it's not rocket science. It is simple. You just need to practice it over and over again, make it a habit, and then you begin to get a hang of it. And it becomes easier over time, days, weeks, and months, for you to achieve stillness. Okay? I know there's a lot of talk about intuition and how, I'm just going to follow my gut. But if you want to be sure that you're hearing the right voice and taking the right action, following your gut, one of the things you need to do is be calm, be still, be quiet. There is a knowing that comes from being still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, let go, trust. And in that process of surrender and stillness, you begin to have an internal knowing that your Father, the creator of the universe, has got it handled. In that stillness, you're able to hear that small voice that gives you clear direction on whether to go left or right. The disciples, on the other hand, were in an exact opposite frame of mind to Jesus' frame of mind. They were anxious. And that state of anxiety blinded them from seeing and knowing and recognizing the power, the presence, the creator that was sitting with them in the boat. What is your anxiety blinding you from? What are you so frantic about that you cannot see what is right in front of you? My prayer for you today is that you would experience God's peace that passes all understanding. My prayer and hope is that you would learn to be quiet, that you would learn to quiet your mind, and that God's peace would flood your life, and that you would make your decisions from a place of clarity. And your steps will be ordered by God, because that's what the Bible promises. Okay? Thank you for tuning in today. I hope this has blessed you. Please share this with your friends and family. There's someone in your life who you know needs to hear this. Please help me reach them. We all need to get better in our decision-making process. And one sure way to get there is by learning to quiet our minds so we can hear God's voice, so you can hear that intuition that God has blessed you with, so you can hear the things, the solutions that your brain, that your beautiful, wonderful brain already solved and processed for you, so it can come to your conscious mind. Okay? Subscribe. Please like this video so we can get many more people to see it. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever, please give us a review. Thank you so much. I'm always happy to talk to you. Until next time, take care and stay blessed. I love you. Bye.